Hey everyone, welcome back to the Flat Thunder channel. My name's Andy, and this is an old window that needs some attention. This old storm window is covering up the replacement bathroom window, which is only a short window. This was installed in the winter time, and obviously we didn't want to get outside and try to mess with this lower portion because we needed to rebuild the wall, adjust the trim, and replace the siding. So now we're finally going to take care of that. Not for sure exactly how we're going to do it, so we're going to kind of learn as we go. First step, popping this old storm window out of there without breaking the glass. Now that we got the storm window out of the way, we can kind of see what's going on here. This is just foam board, as you can tell from the writing. Don't forget to subscribe to the Flat Thunder channel. This is sun damage, so it just goes to show you that extruded foam board does not like being exposed to UV rays. So we're not going to mess with changing that. We got a little bit extra room in between what's going to be the wall here, so we're going to fill that all with some foam. But right now what we need to do is remove this trim work. We're going to have to saw off this old window sill plate here, the part that extends out past the face of the siding. Yeah, and then we're going to cap all this. So first step, gonna take our oscillating tool, cut this trim, pop it off of there, and we're also gonna cut this sill plate off so it's flush. Got my Wonder Bar, as I like to call it, or my multi-purpose pry bar. Wonder Bar. I'm actually going to go grab the mini shop vac, suck up some of these paint chips so they're not just laying on the ground. So right here it is. All we have to do is cut right up to this notch all the way across, and we should be good to go. Now that is nice. Somebody played a stupid and forgot to hit the record button. Obviously we started over here and worked our way all the way across, but that came off of there real nice. I'll take you off the pod and bring you up here. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a perfect finish, but that's 1,000 times better than any other tool that I have, whether it be trying to jam a circular saw in there and then maybe a sawzall with a wood blade. These oscillating tools, it's a game changer. So again, if you don't have one of these, get one, regardless of the brand. Mine's a Hitachi. This one works really good. I like it. But if you don't have an oscillating tool, you need one for home improvement projects. Pretty nice, relatively uniform surface. Started to get a little burning in here. Probably could have changed the blade out for a new one, but it worked its way through, no problem. Alright, so as I said, we need to have like a nailer block in here so we can put the new sheeting to cover this up. And we're also going to need a new like sill plate or drip edge, whatever you want to call it, for the bottom of the glass block window up here so it can extend out and give the water a place to drip off. The covering that we have is 3/8 thick plywood. This is 3/4 inch thick from here to here. What I think we're going to do is create this little sill ridge plate first, because it can go all the way in. It's going to stick out, hang over just like the old one, and then we'll put in vertical supports underneath that tie them all together and then put the sheeting underneath. You'll see it doesn't make sense now, but you'll see what I'm talking about here after we get it cut out. $36. Welcome into the messy garage. This obviously is our new to me table saw, and I gotta admit to you, I'm trying to make this piece, you know, 36 inches long, have the notches on each end, and I really boarded the struggle bus on this one. I thought, hey, we'll just cut this at an angle so we get that nice drainage slope away from the window, but then, you know, you got to start really paying attention to which side's the top, and I'm not gonna lie, I screwed it up and ended up making the bottom the top, maybe even doing some recuts, so you didn't want to watch that, but I think we almost got it figured out. Now the only problem is I'm trying to face this top edge again off so we have a nice smooth finish. But my newer table saw, as you can see, doesn't quite make it all the way through. We're short, maybe a quarter of an inch. So I might just have to put a chamfer on that, because I don't want to go flip-flopping this and changing the angle, because then that's even more chances for me to screw that up. Let's cut it, see what happens. Might get ugly. We're gonna try to match the angle the other way and rip off that little spot. It didn't turn out quite as what I'd liked. We got a nice matching surface here on this end to about here, but what I was afraid of, she walked over a little bit and we got a little bit of a lip on this part. You can see it there, a little ledge. I don't like that, but we're just gonna roll with it because I'm tired of messing with this and we gotta get it installed. Not to mention, I'm also gonna wrap this with aluminum. If we weren't wrapping it with aluminum, I would have opted for a treated. This is just a standard 2x4. It's actually a scrap piece, I believe from studded wall in the house, maybe. So here we go. Let's grab the construction adhesive and the screw gun. Get this installed in the window. For all that messing around, I hope it fits. Pretty decent. Only thing that I should have done, which you'll see before we're finished, is I should have cut the trim pieces at an angle closer to what I was gonna make this shelf, but we'll fill that with adhesive or silicone. Trick to drilling angled holes is start straight, then take your drill out and switch to the angle. Need a high speed. It is a high speed. And winning. Dropping everything here. We're ready to put in supports from here down to here. That's going to be our sheeting support. And then we can fill in with a little spray foam and cover this whole section. Nice fit along the back edge there. Piece across the top, a piece across the bottom, cut and installed. And now we're just installing a couple uprights to bridge the gap from the top to the bottom. Toenailing these in, but you want to make sure you have the correct distance for your cover sheet, which in our case is 3/8 of an inch. It's getting dark. We're gonna have to call it quits for the evening, but we got her more or less framed up. We got the new sill plate installed. We did have a bit of an interruption here. We had a visitor that stopped by. Dad stopped by. He took a look at the angle that I had on my sill plate for the window here, and he wasn't happy with the angle. So I did have 3 degrees, and we increased it to about 5 to 7-ish, roughly, which I agree with him after looking at it closer. I definitely didn't have enough angle on this top surface. You want a nice angle here so the water will shed off and roll away from the window. And the way I had it previously, it just didn't look like enough after it was up there. Part of the problem, I toenailed in here, if you saw, and when I toenailed in here, it sucked it up flat against this trim board, which the trim board doesn't cut right at an angle, so that took away some of my grade. So Dad helped me take it down and rip a better angle on it so it has more fall away from the window, which I think is going to work much better. He's a way better carpenter than what I am, so I'm happy he stopped by. It's always a party when the Great Stuff foam cam comes out. If you know a good way to use this stuff, drop down in the comments section, let me know. Every time I use it, it's always a mess. Hopefully this is where this table saw shines. I've never owned my own personal table saw that was a cast iron unit that had this much rip capacity. Usually I'm stuck with little portable ones. This one goes way out to, I covered it up. It goes over 20 inches, and we need to rip about a 19-inch wide piece. So I'm gonna give it a go, see what happens. Hopefully it works great. That worked really good. I let off a little bit at the end when I adjusted for the 2-hand push, but we're within roughly 1/8 of an inch. No problem on this. This is just rough construction. So yeah, having this extended fence is nice. Now I just need to get this garage cleaned up so I can have a permanent spot where the saw sits, where the chop saw sits, so I can just go out and use it regularly. Right now I gotta drag it out, set it all up. It's a very time-consuming process. Here's the garage organization. I need to get some of that. Man, that looks like crap. What I was hoping to show here is the amount that this Great Stuff spray foam expands. And this stuff did expand, but it didn't expand to quite the margin that I usually see when I install the Great Stuff foam. This foam is some older stuff, so maybe that was part of it, or maybe this really is all that spans when it's in an open cavity, but usually it just blows out all over the place. And if it does do that for you, get yourself a bread knife and then you can saw it. Sawing it's the best way to cut it. Right now we don't have to saw any of this because it's all recessed beneath this sheeting that we're going to put on here. So we're ready to rock and roll and put the cover on. And if you're wondering why I did this, that was just because I had the can. I was going to throw the can away. Why not spray it out? It doesn't do anything. I really only wanted to get the corners, and then in here around the middle behind this vertical support there's some voids. So we got it all sheeted. All we need to do now is put some flashing in. I'm going to use tar paper just to cover this, and then put in our new siding pieces. Now these are just leftover pieces that I have, and unfortunately I just have barely enough. I need 1, 2, 3 full rungs and then a little piece up here, which I think I could probably reuse this little piece here, but I'm just gonna barely have enough to do this, and I'm actually gonna have to on one of the pieces split it so it'll have you know, 2 pieces to make 1 full length. I don't really want to buy more of this, so we're gonna try to see if we can make this work. The right way to do this would be to take off the neighboring planks. That way you can break it up and put the divide line so it doesn't show a line all the way around where the old window used to be. The way we're going to do it now, it's just only because I'm using the material that I have. If I had to go buy more material, I would I'd either buy all new planks so I can go the full length from that window to the door, and or I would use planks such that I could split them in different spots. I think full length pieces would probably be the best, but I'm not doing that here simply because we have these pieces and we're going to put these to good use, and we're also going to vinyl side this in the future, so you're not going to see this very long. Hopefully vinyl siding's coming someday. This is cement board siding that we're using to replace on our redwood siding. We're going to cut such that our blade comes up. We're going to cut from the back side. That way it doesn't splinter out the front face of it so much. And you're also supposed to wear a mask because it contains silica. They say you're not supposed to use power tools to cut this, and I have no idea how you cut this without a power tool. So don't use a power tool, but use a power tool. Supposedly you can score it and break it, but we ain't got time for that. give you just a close-up and more of an explanation of what I did here. Again, this is all going to be covered, so I didn't want to spend an absorbent amount of time on this. This tar paper is basically the house wrap or flashing to protect the wood of the house, the main sheeting. And I tucked it in to this first furring strip over here where the siding nails to, and then also to this furring strip where the siding nails to. So it's on top of the furring strips. It'll be sealed there. Really the right way to do this would be to extend this way, get those furring strips off, put it behind it on both sides, and then also remove more siding down there. Didn't get that much involved because we're gonna put vinyl siding on this, so this will all be covered with a top layer in the future. I put the first sheet was just long enough. I tucked it up right against the bottom of this threshold, but then I was afraid water was going to run right down if it got behind the siding, so I wanted to wrap it just a little bit around the top side. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. A lot of it depends on how you wrap your window sill plate there, or threshold, or your window sill. But hopefully water won't run uphill, and this is cut at the same angle as the top, so we should be good there. When I put in this little piece of siding underneath there, I'll seal it to the top here, so shouldn't have any problems there. I don't think that's probably the best practice. This whole thing probably should be capped and wrapped such that it has a ledge down here, but I do not have a aluminum brake. Otherwise I would wrap this whole thing with aluminum, go under the window, around it, down, back over, and have a leg sticking down on it like so. But this is what we got to work with. All right, let's get the siding up there. Removed the trim boards from each side of the window. Now we're working on getting our aluminum flashing in. So the idea here is to get the aluminum flashing in between the window, and then it will mate up to this face underneath the trim board, and we'll put the trim board back on over top of it. This is the aluminum that we have available to us. I don't have a forming tool, so if you're a professional window installer, go ahead and turn the video off right now because you're not going to like what I'm doing here. But this is what I have available, so we're going to use this pre-formed fascia aluminum to cut up and cap this sill and the sides and the top. I didn't remove the top because it has this drip edge that's formed into the top or nailed to the top as one big block. So we're going to try to tuck it in here and then jam it up in between, because I didn't want to disturb this drip lip that's on top. It's pretty well caulk solid to the siding, and if I tried to remove that, it would just break it out. We're going to start cutting and see what we screwed up. Like I said, it's the most complicated piece, so there's a lot of room for errors here, and I don't do this very often. This is probably the first time in, I don't know, a couple years. So we'll see what happens. Good news is we got spare pieces. So here's the tab that folds up. There's the tab inside there that folds up. We're going to wrap that with this piece that caps. We're going to wrap that with this piece that caps on the ends here. Folded the end over. I'm going to cut this part off. Looks like I got a little bit of dirt on there. Here's this end, and when we're finally ready to install it, well, you know, pop a trim nail in there. I think on the bottom here, since this doesn't hang over the edge, it's just about right at the same spot. I'm going to wrap it this way with a short piece of aluminum. That way it doesn't back feed up. It really needs a good ½ inch or so, but I think if we wrap it, come from underneath and go up, it'll keep water from sucking back in there. That's what she looks like. I don't think it turned out too bad. So here's the top piece. Looks very much similar to the bottom. Side pieces will go on the side. In the middle we got a little ear bent up, the cap. Right now we're just trying to get it wedged underneath this top trim board without having to take it off. Not 100% confident we can do it like this, but hopefully we can. That took a south turn. Didn't break off the top yet. Let's see if I can pull those nails without ripping it completely off. Alright, well that was a fun little adventure. Got my side pieces cut. I inverted these so it covers more of the base material, the smaller lip protruding inside. Side pieces will go in last because they overlap these turn-ups on the top and bottom. Oh, I forgot this little piece I wanted to put on. Time out for that piece. Okie dokie. I had to turn you off there. There was some foul language being used. This simple piece was really causing me problems. You obviously saw I tried to form my own piece. Didn't work. Got the second piece. Like I'm a little short. Is what it is at this point. But the reason I had problems on both pieces is I needed to nail in this edge to hold it in tight against this wood corner. As we're trying to form it, it kept, you know, bending out, and then we're kind of getting the banana deal. But I think we're good to go, and we're finally ready to put everything back on. These are special aluminum trim nails. They're not actually aluminum, but they are white painted stainless steel. So if you're going to do any type of work like this where you need white nails, opt for the stainless steel ones. The aluminum ones are way too easy to bend, and these give you a much better, I guess, much better experience if you have to nail in trim nails. The aluminum ones just bend all over the place. Well, Well, here we go. I made a mistake. The tab that I folded over the end, on this side I left an ear for the bottom. On this side I cut it off. Dope. I'll just make a little wrap piece here to fix that. Have our old trim pieces, removed the nails, and now we just need to fit her back in there. I think in the future when we side it, I'll probably switch these out to the plastic brick molding similar to the door right next to you there. We still have a little bit of exposed wood here. I'm going to cover that with some white silicone caulk before we nail this down. Nail it down, should be good to go. Finally, I feel like I'm melting here. It's really hot today if you didn't notice. Approaching 90, if not 90, and we're right in the direct line of sun doing this. So we got all the aluminum fitted. Struggled a little bit. The only part that I really don't like is this little section here that's underneath this top lap, and I'm going to silicone that. This whole window, if you're not familiar with these glass block windows, this whole window is actually set in and held in place with a silicone base. So when the window is placed, it's placed in an opening that it's oversized, so you have about 3/8 to a quarter all the way around. And then you fill that all with silicone. So the outside was not filled with silicone. We need to get the silicone, the pure silicone clear, fill in there, and then put our regular white silicone around the exterior edges, and then I think we'll be good to go. So we got that all filled in, and the glass block window is supported and held in position with silicone caulk. Now I'm just going to put a little dab in here in this exposed corner underneath. Okay, now I got the white silicone caulk. I already filled in some of the screw heads, but I need to get a new tube of caulk. Have your damp paper towel ready. And just caulk in all of the joints and corners here. It's in, finally. Been roasting here in the sun. It's 93 degrees today, and this whole project we've been pretty much basking in the sun the entire time. But it's in. I think we did a okay job, aside from that little corner down there where we missed the tab and didn't fold it over. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Throw some white paint on there and some brown paint down on the new siding, and should be good to go. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Leave all your questions in the comments in that section below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everyone.